Hello you guys and welcome to my channel. I'm so excited to have you here. So in today's video, we are going to be doing a part 2. So with that being said, I will link down part 1 of me talking about the MLM coach no shame sales game. And if you want to get a little bit more backstory on who this person is, what her $365 membership is, and just all around more insight on this individual, this MLM coach, and the Instagram page that she runs, I would recommend checking out part 1 because I'm only going to do a very, very short recap today. So as you guys know, I made a video last month on the MLM coach no shame sales game. And as I was filming, I realized that I had so many things I wanted to say, so many different posts that I wanted to react to that I really just needed to make a part 2 of this. As you guys know, No Shame Sales Game is an individual who runs a Instagram page, and she made this No Shame Sales Game account to pretty much teach people the right way to go around network marketing or to go about network marketing. Since we last talked, she actually grew from 90,000 followers to 102, and her followers are made up of people from all different MLMs. It doesn't matter what MLM you're in. She makes this page to talk about direct sales as a whole. But again, we're going to be talking about really the false narrative that this person has around MLMs and talking about what she teaches people on her platform. So the first post I want to talk about is an 8-part post. She has 8 slides and then has a description that we're going to go over. So she states 4 questions to consider when deciding if an MLM is right for you. And keep in mind, all of these things are from the FTC's website. First one, the FTC asks, do you want to be a salesperson? So she said, the FTC states, you'll hear often, I don't sell, I share. And yes, that's true, but don't get it twisted. This is sales. You will be sharing and talking to people about the products of the company that you've aligned with. When most people think sales, they think of Matilda's dad slinging used cars, and that's too bad. We all sell things every day. If you're someone who likes recommending products, places, people that you like, it's important for you. It's that simple. Well, she's making it seem like these are the questions and these are the things that the real FTC states, but she doesn't really state them how the FTC is stating them. So if you actually go on the FTC's website, the FTC actually states, do you want to be a salesperson? If you join an MLM, you will be a salesperson. Your job will be to sell the company's products and in many cases, convince others to join, invest, and sell. If you don't like selling or if you're uncomfortable asking people you know to put their time and money into a business venture, joining an MLM is a bad idea. So what I find is she's taking what the FTC is saying and not telling people what the FTC is actually saying, but kind of twisting it into how she wants to state it. Because she could have just took what the FTC said and put it on this post and quoted the FTC as her source. But she didn't do that. She just took the question the FTC asks and didn't actually write anything the FTC actually says about MLMs and about the question they're telling people to ask themselves. So she decided to leave out where the FTC states that you'll most likely need to convince others to join, invest, and sell. And that's a really big part of multi-level marketing companies, and the FTC clearly knows that. The FTC knows that 1, you're going to be a salesperson, and 2, you're most likely going to have to ask people that you know and love, aka your family and your friends. You're going to have to ask them to join you. You're going to have to put yourself out there with your friends and family, especially if you don't have a large social media following, because then who else are you going to sell to? Because at the end of the day, in the MLM, you are a salesperson. You are selling a product or you are selling an opportunity when it comes to the MLM opportunity to become a rep. So the FTC is saying that you're going to be a salesperson. Your job's going to be to sell the company's product and in most cases, convince others to join, invest, and sell. So she didn't really point that out. She didn't talk about the fact that you're going to be doing more than selling, aka you're going to have to recruit people and stuff like that in most cases. So it was interesting how she left that out. So the next question is, do you have a solid sales plan? So she said, most people often mistake their network as their family of origin and 5 friends. Your network is actually much larger. This isn't what the FTC says. Make sure you ask the person you're joining what their onboarding process is like and what kind of training you'll receive from them. Also consider the product you'll be selling. Will it be easy to sell to customers over and over again? And ask your potential upline about their percentage of repeat customers. So this was really interesting. I feel like this was one of the more interesting things that No Shame Sales Game said, because this is not what the FTC states. So if we put these side by side, what the FTC actually says is, do you have a solid sales plan? Consider whether you have friends and family who will buy this product from you over and over again. Think about how you would find and keep other other regular customers? Can people buy something like this product elsewhere, maybe for less? So it's interesting how the FTC literally says, consider whether you have friends and family who will buy this product from you over and over again. And she changed it to, most people often mistake their network as their family of origin and 5 friends. Your network is actually much larger. That's not what the FTC said. The FTC pointed out the fact that you are going to have to sell to friends and family over and over again, especially if you don't have what's called like a huge social media following. The FTC recognizes that you need things like a huge social media following and a huge network of people in order to actually sell a product. And if you don't have a huge network of people, or if you don't have like a huge social media following, you are going to have to depend on your friends and family to sell to. But No Shame Sales Game decided to pretty much leave that out. So next, No Shame Sales Game said, what are your income goals? If you're hoping to become a millionaire and quit your job next year, this isn't it, which I'm actually glad she said that. The likelihood of that happening is slim to none. A more realistic expectation is extra spending money every month. Extra spending money that can help you with groceries, car payments, debt payments, etc. More is absolutely possible, and so is less. What the FTC actually says is, what are your income goals? You might think with your willingness to work hard, you can earn substantial income through your MLM. In fact, most people who join MLMs and work hard make little or no money, and some of them lose money. So she literally left that out. Like, this is what frustrates me, because I can tell that No Shame Sales Game knows who the FTC is. She has clearly read this whole entire page that the FTC has written, and she has read these questions. And instead of saying, hey, the FTC says, what are your income goals? Because no matter how hard you work, most people in MLMs that work hard make no money, and some of them lose money. So she didn't write that at all. So we're seeing so far what this individual is doing is twisting the narrative. She's taking what the FTC is saying and twisting it to fit whatever narrative it is that she has. Instead of telling people what the FTC actually states, she takes the question the FTC asks, deletes their whole answer on the question, and then makes up her own answer for that question, pretty much trying to quote it as this is what the FTC is saying, when unfortunately it's not. So it really does suck to see that, because I know when I was in my MLM, I didn't even know what the FTC was. So to see that this person knows what the FTC is, but she's kind of taking what they're saying and twisting it, is really eye-opening to what this individual is doing. The last question is the FTC asking, can you afford to spend the money and time? So No Shame Sales Game stated, every business venture has risks. The startup cost is typically low, but make sure you ask the cost of the website or other reoccurring costs. The monthly overhead is usually low, but you want to make sure you can afford it. Also ask if you are required to buy inventory and or ship the products to your customers. So what the actual FTC stated was, can you afford to risk the time and money? Every business venture has risks. MLMs are no different. Even if the startup costs seem low, additional expenses can add up quickly. Expenses can include training and travel costs, website fees, promotional materials, costs to host parties, costs to buy products. If you need to borrow money or use your credit card to finance your expenses, you may face hefty interest charges too. Also consider the time demands of the business, like going to trainings, recruiting new distributors, managing paperwork, recording inventory, and shipping products. So those are the differences. So now if we actually look at the last slide, she said, feel free to share with your audience to help you talk about your network marketing company, and please tag me on this account when you do. So we see that she's trying to utilize this account as something that people can share with their social media followings, and that they could share with their team, with their downline, with people around them that are joining their MLM, but she's not actually giving the full extent of what the FTC is saying. So now let's read the description. She said, these questions are from the FTC, like the real FTC, the same FTC that the anti-MLM people like to talk about all the time. The anti-MLM people often leave out that the FTC acknowledges that MLM is not the same as pyramid schemes. So can we just get over that? ? Be informed, ask questions if you're considering this industry, provide realistic information if you're sharing the industry. I hope you're able to share these slides to help you talk to your audience about the network marketing company company you've partnered with. So I do agree with her that yes, the FTC in this document or in this page, this is one of my favorite pages to quote, one of my favorite pages to share with you guys, one of my favorite pages to source. I think it's a really important page on the FTC's website. So it's pretty much called MLM versus pyramid scheme. So on this page, the FTC actually does state that yes, there's a difference between pyramid schemes and MLMs. They actually go into more in-depth explanations on why that is. What is the difference between an MLM? What is the difference between a pyramid scheme? But most importantly, they state what a pyramid scheme is. So if people do read this page, they can get a lot more insight on what a pyramid scheme is. So the difference that the FTC states of a pyramid scheme and a multi-level marketing company is the fact that in a pyramid scheme, the bulk of where your money is coming from is recruiting others to do the same thing you're doing. So what ends up happening in a pyramid scheme is you can have product, you can be selling a product, but the bulk of what you're doing, the bulk of where your money is coming from is going to be recruiting others to do the same thing. So you end up with a whole line of people, like rows of people that are joining your pyramid scheme, and then they are also recruiting people to join it. So they're really, one, making the bulk of their money from recruiting, but also spending all of their time and effort on recruiting versus actually selling a product. But what I like to highlight on this page is that the FTC actually points out, and they quote, most people who join legitimate MLMs make little or no money. Some of them lose money. In some cases, people believe they've joined a legitimate MLM, but it turns out to be an illegal pyramid scheme that steals everything they invest and leaves them deeply into debt. So yeah, it is possible for MLMs to be pyramid schemes. It is possible for them to get sued by the FTC. It is possible that as time goes on, that more MLMs will be shut down because that's what we see happening. It was interesting how she left that out. It was interesting how she left out the fact that you can join a legitimate MLM, but it can actually be a pyramid scheme and can get shut down. She also left out the fact that they state that most people who join legitimate MLMs make little or no money. And all in all, with this post, we've seen that she really left out a lot of things that the FTC was saying and kind of twisted things to fit the narrative in which she had with this post. Let's move on to the next post. That was the longest post. I was like, oh my gosh, it's going to take me like 15, 20 minutes just to talk about this one post. But okay, let's look at the next one. So the next post says, for the average person, an extra $300 to $500 per month would be considered life-changing. That's why we talk about starting a side gig. We need to do a better job painting the picture of what a life-changing income looks like. When we, women in network marketing, talk about what an extra income could do, our networks roll their eyes because they assume we're making false claims about people becoming millionaires overnight. So they simply look the other way or give us shit. But here's the deal. Life-changing doesn't mean mansions and Hummers with gold rims. $300 to $500 extra each month could cover a significant bill or an unexpected cost. It could go towards student loans or paying off credit card debt. It could cover the dance classes or the karate lessons that your kid has been asking to take. It could buy groceries. It could create breathing room. And when you break it down like that, my friends, is when people start paying attention. So I don't disagree with her that $300, like an extra $300 to $500 a month can do a lot for a lot of people. That can pay multiple bills. That can pay multiple grocery trips. Like $300 to $500 extra a month could be really good for a lot of people and super helpful to a lot of people who may be living paycheck to paycheck. But the question that it comes down to with multi-level marketing companies is, yes, people can make $300 to $500 a month, but are they profiting that much? Because when we look at things like income disclosure statements and we look at statistics, we see that most people don't make an extra $300 to $500 a month. But on top of that, even if they do say get paid $300 this month from their MLM, after they look at their expenses, they most likely don't profit in the MLM. And that's also the issue when it comes to multi-level marketing companies. So it's not that people assume MLM reps are saying you can become a millionaire, even though a lot of the times it is because it's promoted that way. MLM reps promote the fact that you can make a lot of money, you can live this luxury lifestyle. But beside that, yes, we hear them say, oh, you can make an extra $300 to $500. But what they never really talk about is how much are you actually making? When you're done spending money and earning money, what is your profit at the end of the day? So that's what I would say is one of the many issues with MLMs. It's that reps are sold this dream. They're sold that they can have what the top reps have. They're sold, oh, you can live this lifestyle I live if you just put in the work that I did. Once they are sold that dream, they join. and they do everything they're told to do, right? They go on these weekly trainings. They do these checklists that their uplines give them. They do this personal training or this personal development, and they lean into what their uplines have been pretty much telling them they need to do in order to achieve the lifestyle that the upline has been promoting. But most of the time, they will learn that in order to rank up, in order to get bonuses, in order to even attempt to profit in the MLM, you have to spend thousands yearly on product to be active, and you have to recruit people to do the same thing. When we actually break it down and we look at most MLMs, we will see and realize that their comp plan is structured around recruitment, and their comp plan is also structured around having these requirements every month. So if we use, for example, Monet, I just know there's off the top of my head, so it's really easy for me to talk about. With Monet, if you want to rank advance, you not only need a monthly PV requirement, which means you need to buy a certain amount of product a month or sell, but if you can't sell that certain amount of product a month, you do have to buy it. So not only do you need a certain amount of PV every month, so you have to buy products every month to stay active, you also have downline requirements. So as you are going up in the ranks, trying to earn this money, you are going to have to spend money monthly to stay active. You're going to have to spend money monthly to rank advance, to get to those higher ranks, to get you those bonuses, to hopefully get you to profit. And then on top of that, you start getting downline volume requirements that you need. So not only do you need to be recruiting people, and do you not only need to be spending like $300 to $500 a month to stay active, you also need your downline to be buying a certain amount of products or selling a certain amount of product. So normally reps aren't told this. They're not told that they are going to have to recruit. They're not told that in order to rank advance, they have this amount of PV. They're not told that they're going to have to go to these trips and sell this lifestyle. They're not told that. They're just told, hey, if you join this MLM, it could be life-changing for you. If you just work hard, it could be life-changing. But in the end, these people realize that, damn, in order to rank advance, I do need to recruit this amount of people. I do need to invest how much? Like $300 a month on products. I then need my downline to buy products for me to maintain rank. So in the end, yeah, cool. An extra $200 to $300 or $300 to $500 would be great. But is that what people are actually making? Are people actually bringing home and profiting $200 to $300 to $400 to $500 a month? No, they're not. So as I told you guys in the beginning, No Shame Sales Game, this individual is actually in Rodan and Fields. I'm not sure if she's like 100% still in the MLM, but I know that Rodan and Fields is the MLM that she would state that she's in. So if we even look at their income disclosure statement to pretty much debunk what this person's saying, their income disclosure statement states that the average paid consultant for Rodan and Fields earned $462 in 2020. So if we think about how much does it cost to join Rodan and Fields, how much do their products cost, what are the requirements that you are going to need, aka do you need to buy products monthly, do you need to go on trips to sell this lifestyle? But then at the end, the average rep is only making $462. People aren't going to be bringing home an extra $300 to $500 like you're promoting on your Instagram. The average person that could use $300, $500 to be life-changing is not going to be able to actually make that in most multi-level marketing companies when you look at the statistics. So while yes, it's amazing and it's great, like an extra $300 to $500 would be amazing for people, that's just not the reality of what the average person is making in these multi-level marketing companies. So now the next post I wanted to react to says, tough love. If you're making your team success all about you, you are the problem. I've seen team leaders get on their team pages to cry about how much car qualification or a personal goal means to them. Before any leader comes with their virtual pitchforks, hear me out. Would you like that kind of leadership? Of course not. It's gross and it's guilt trippy. It's not leadership, and it makes your team talk shit about you behind your back. It's because you're making it about you. They don't work for us. If anything, we, the upline, work for them. Our title, paycheck, and many earned incentives are because of them. The second you make it about you, you lose. If there's a goal you have, maybe it's hitting $75,000 in monthly org volume to earn your rolling trophy. Sit down and figure out how that increase in volume affects your team members' paychecks. If everyone does X amount more this month, your paycheck will look more like blank. Make it about the team. Be a servant leader and you will win every time. So she stated, They don't work for us. We work for them. Our title, paycheck, earned incentives are because of them. And she's not lying. She's right. That's one of the biggest issues in MLMs is the fact that multiple marketing companies make these comp plans. They make these incentives. They make these rank structures dependent on recruitment, and they make it structured dependent on what your downline can do for you. It's never, hey, I can get myself to the top of this rank structure just by selling products, or I can get this earned trip without any downline, without ever having to recruit somebody. That's not the reality of it. It's a huge reason why MLMs are compared to pyramid schemes. When you really break down MLMs comp plans, rank structures, bonuses, incentives, and how it is that you can achieve those things, it's most of the time dependent on that downline and people doing things for you. And at the end of the day, if we look at the stats, we know the top 1% or the tippity top percentage of those MLM reps are going to be the only ones to really make a livable wage, but they only got there because the people below them bought products and stayed active. So in the end, no, the downline works for the upline, in my opinion. Everything the downline does is what benefits the upline. That is how the upline gets anywhere they are. And no matter how you really twist it or turn it, or no matter how much you try to be a servant leader and make it about the team, at the end of the day, it's still about you. Because if you're looking at everything, if you're an upline and you're looking at, okay, how can I rank advance? And you see, oh, well, the only way I can rank advance is if my downline does this, and this. So I'm going to twist this around, make it all about them. But I know by trying to make it about them, I'm pretty much just helping myself. So in the end, uplines are only doing those things because it helps themselves. Because we could ask ourselves, would uplines do what they do if it didn't benefit them? Would they do these trainings? Would they make these group chats? Would they do what they do if they did not benefit from it? Most of the time, no. So another example for this, because I do like comparing it to actual MLMs or actual examples of MLMs to show people that this actually is happening. So for example, in Beachbody, for a rep to hit elite status is that top 1%. Normally like 100 people hit that every single year, which is a very small percentage of people, especially when Beachbody says they have, what do they say? They have 400,000 coaches. So for Beachbody, in order to hit elite, you must have 5 diamond reps under you, meaning your downline has to recruit people. With that, every single person in your downline has to remain in active status. That means that for 6 weeks, for that 6-week qualification period, your downline has to not only keep their rank, which is that diamond rank, they also have to stay active, meaning they have to buy products or sell products. In Beachbody, like I said, in order to hit elite, you need that. Your downline needs to hit a certain rank, and then those people need to stay active. Once the team stays active by buying products and they maintain that for 6 weeks, the upline is an elite coach, just the upline. Everyone in the downline, they're just there. They're just a part of that person's downline. That means that the upline couldn't have gotten that rank. They couldn't have gotten elite. They couldn't have gotten where they were without their downline getting them there. So the next post is another very, 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 very long one, but it states, network marketing can change the game for anyone. And if you decide it's not for you, your life stays the same. It doesn't make sense to not try. I beg to differ. No Shame Sales Game then said, minimum risk involved. The vast majority of network marketing companies offer the standard benefit of a 1-year 90% refund to distributors who decides it's not the right fit for them. So I don't agree with this. I don't believe that there's minimal risk involved in an MLM. I think that there is tons of risks, and is a reason why a lot of people talk about multi-level marketing companies and educate about multi-level marketing companies, because there is a lot of risk that you do take when you join these companies. Most MLMs can cost anywhere from $100 to $500 to $1,000 to start. And then again, most MLMs also have monthly PV requirements. So on top of that amount of money that you're paying for that startup cost, that minimal startup cost that she's talking about, you're most likely going to have PV requirements that range from $50 to $100 a month that you're going to have to spend on products to stay active. And on top of that, most MLM reps are convinced to go on all of these trip opportunities that the MLMs have. And I feel like a big reason why they do this, and a big reason why MLMs promote incentive trips and incentive cars, is to promote that lifestyle to social media. So most people do want to go on these trips. They get what's called FOMO, so fear of missing out, when they see other people do it. And again, I've been to plenty of like MLM trips of all different kinds. They can cost anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 per trip for the flight cost, the hotel hotel, the food you're spending your money on, things that you're going to buy when you're there, or the type of things that you're going to do. So on top of PV requirements, on top of the requirements you need in order to get started, on top of these trips that can cost anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500. You even have things like MLM reps being convinced to do social media ads where they're spending anywhere from $250 to $500 a month on advertisements to get the word out there. You also have people promoting in MLMs that you need to buy personal development books, so that can actually add up whenever you're buying actual books off the internet, or whether you're using Audible. I used Audible for a while, and I believe it was like $15 a month. So at the end of the day, that does add up. So I feel like I can really go on and on and on with what MLM reps end up having to spend their money on. Even 2 weeks ago when I did my MLM interview with an ex-Beachbody rep, she said that she was told to get an assistant. Like, she was told once she got to a certain rank that she would have to hire an assistant. So now you're spending money on all these other things. You're spending money on assistants and products and trips you're going on and this lifestyle that you're trying to uphold that you're told to flaunt on social media. So at the end of the day, it isn't minimal risk. And I think the most important thing, excluding the money aspect when it comes to minimal risk involved, is the fact that multi-level marketing companies do look a lot like cults. They do promote cult mentality and make people do and say things that they would never do if they were not in a multi-level marketing company. So to me, that's not minimal risk. It's not minimal risk to join an MLM. There are a lot of things that can happen, a lot of things that can go wrong, like losing friends and family and money, and really being within this cult mindset that it's just not minimal risk. So it's interesting to see so many MLM reps saying this, when I feel like when we break it down and we look at everything about MLMs, it's not a minimal risk. It's a huge risk that you take when you join a multi-level marketing company. So the next slide said, virtually no overhead. A common misconception with network marketing is that you're required to spend money on inventory, which is not true. Most network marketing companies ship directly, which takes the distributor out of the inventory equation. Most companies will require a monthly fee to host your website, typically in between $9 to $25 a month, which you are not contracted into. You can cancel/turn it off at any time. Okay, so you guys know I have a theory on this. If you watch previous videos of mine, I have a theory on why MLMs, a lot of them, have stopped doing the inventory thing. We know companies like Mary Kay and LuLaRoe do inventory where reps have to buy inventory and then sell out of their house, which means they have to pay for like shipping and deal with all of that stuff. That is a lot of work. So I have a theory on why I feel MLMs have taken this out of the equation. Number one, I feel like it helps reps not inventory load. But number two, I feel like it makes a really good selling point for these newer social media style MLMs. For example, social media MLMs like Monate, which is a little bit newer. Beachbody's been around for forever, but they're mostly social media based now, and they utilize that as a selling point. But those type of MLMs thrive. A lot of the ones that are using social media, they want to use the fact that, oh, you don't have inventory, and they can use that as a selling point to make their MLM seem better, or make their MLM seem like you have less risk involved because you're not actually buying, $20,000 of inventory to sell to people. But in the end, even the MLMs that don't have inventory, the issue I find with those MLMs is all of the other requirements that they do have that I've been talking about literally for the past 20 minutes in this YouTube video. But the PV requirements, the downline requirements, all of those other things that MLMs have, I feel like they did that on purpose. I feel like MLM said, okay, we're going to take the inventory aspect out. So we still need to be making sure that our reps are buying products monthly. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace it with active fees. And we're going to replace it with things like downline requirements, like downline volume requirements, meaning your downline needs to be buying products. So instead of buying inventory and selling it, they end up, like MLM reps, end up with a huge inventory, like a huge inventory in their own house, trying to keep up with the amount of products they need to buy every single month to stay active. I will say, when I left, and let me know if you guys are similar, if you left your MLM, but when I left my MLM, I had like 5 boxes, I'm telling you, 5 boxes of the pre-workout. I think like 4 or 3 containers of the post-workout. I had protein bars that went bad that I had to throw away, like 3 cases of them that costed like $100 for these freaking protein bars, because each month I had had to keep staying active. And I was having to buy products so much that I wasn't ever actually using up all of my product at home. So you're going to see that MLM reps are going to be buying products for themselves to use, but they're going to end up with way more products than they actually need. So again, that's just my theory on why a lot of MLMs have stopped doing the inventory aspect. But on top of stopping that aspect, they have all of these other requirements that are needed for like personal inventory, aka PV requirements and downline volume requirements. So the next slide says low startup cost. The average startup cost for network marketing companies is in the $150 ballpark or less. So I will not disagree with this. I do think that a lot of multi-level marketing companies do range between like $100 to $150. But again, there are those other MLMs, for example, Savvy. I showed you guys Savvy, like top leaders really promoting their $1,000 packages. We have Monate, which is pretty expensive if they convince people to go with the higher package. Beachbody is automatically at $160 or above, depending on how much product you want to come with your starter kit. But I know things like It Works and other MLMs do have like smaller startup costs, but in the end, it doesn't matter when they're going to have to buy so many products and buy so many things once they're in the MLM. So let's keep reading. It goes, with low startup cost, virtually no overhead, and minimal risk, network marketing is a no-brainer for anyone smart enough to care about having multiple streams of income. Then the description states, newsflash, you don't have to want to quit your day job in order for your network marketing to make sense. Talk to anyone who is financially well off. Almost all of them will undoubtedly have multiple streams of income. Having all of your eggs in one corporate or self-employed basket isn't smart. With low startup cost, virtually no overhead, and minimal risk, network marketing is a no-brainer for anyone smart enough to care about having multiple streams of income. So yes, I will agree. Having multiple streams of income is amazing, and it's what a lot of people are talking about in 2022. And when it comes to multiple streams of income, there's things like having your full-time job, having those like investing style bank accounts that money accumulates over time. You also have stocks. You have a lot of things that people are doing nowadays. You have social media. People who do social media decide to go multiple different ways. They'll be on social media platforms. They'll do brand deals. They'll do affiliate marketing with a bunch of different companies. There will be a lot of different things that they do in order to bring in those multiple streams. Because for example, say 1 month they don't have that many brand deals, that other stream of income can replace that other income that may not be there. So yes, multiple streams of income is definitely something that a lot of people are doing. But my question is, where are we finding these financially well-off people using MLMs as like a way for their multiple streams of income? And what I mean by that is, if we look at a bunch of rich people, just your, say, celebrities, are those people in multi-level marketing companies as distributors? Are they hosting team calls? Are they promoting to their social medias freaking every day? Are they posting daily posts about the company promoting it? Are they going to all of these trip incentives? Are they getting the car incentives, etc.? No. Now, yes, for bigger celebrities, I remember Black China was in a multi-level marketing company, and she probably made hundreds of thousands of dollars overnight just by making one post. And then have we seen her talk about it since? I know I haven't, so I'd be curious to see if you guys have. Okay, so the next post is something we definitely see happen in MLMs a lot, and it's really shitty. So let's talk about it. It says, you don't need your husband's permission to align with a network marketing company. And then the description says, I said what I said. The reason I find an issue with this is because it's very common in multi-level marketing companies for distributors to convince vulnerable individuals to join their MLM. So in this case, if they are trying to recruit someone, say a postpartum mother or a stay-at-home mom or a military spouse, those are very vulnerable people. And in that scenario, they're telling you not to listen to the loved ones around you. They're telling you not to even have a conversation with the people around you to see if this is something smart to do. Or when you're in a marriage, it should be a partnership. If you take on a huge job, or when you're doing something like spending hundreds of dollars into a multi-level marketing company that is going to take a lot of your time to attempt to build up, and unfortunately, most people don't get to the top, you should be having a conversation with your loved one or the person that you are married to about doing that. So I just find this a tactic that is very commonly used on spouses. They'll always make that, oh, well, you don't need to ask your husband. If your husband says no, that means that they don't care about you, etc. So let's see what some of these comments said, because I feel like that's where the biggest problem was. So someone in the comments said, I agree, but I definitely think that there needs to be communication because this can take up a lot of time during certain months. So you want to be on the same page in terms of financial goals and work hours, which I agree with. No Shame Sales Game said, yes, needing your husband to green light it so you can try it are two very different things. Then someone responded to No Shame Sales Game and said, I think some women use this as an excuse because they don't want to make a decision or end up not wanting to say no, which is very true. We hear that a lot of the times. I know I hear that a lot. People say that, oh, I told someone like I didn't want to join their MLM, and what I told them was my husband said no, because they're just someone who's really bad at saying no themselves. So that is really common. Then we have a comment that says, in a marriage or a team, making a financial commitment without talking to and agreeing with your spouse is a hard no for me. Multiple people said that they agreed with this post. And then No Shame Sales Game did expand on her post and responded to this person and said, I didn't say you shouldn't talk. Communication is key. But if you want to do something, stand up for yourself and tell him. If he's an equal party partner, it shouldn't be an issue. If he's not, well, you've got bigger issues to deal with. So it's sad to see that that's the mentality that's promoted in MLMs, that like if your spouse doesn't agree with something that you want to do, that you've got bigger issues. In my opinion, people aren't always going to agree on things, especially couples or best friends or family members. You're just not always going to agree with something. You're not always going to see why someone else may want to do something. And it may take deeper conversations to see that. Or maybe you have a spouse that's educated about MLMs and knows it's just not a smart investment. So they bring that up and they bring up the point that they've done research on it and it's just not a smart investment. That doesn't equal that they have bigger issues. So I feel like with MLMs, this is how individuals who want to join MLMs and end up joining, even though their spouse may not agree with it, end up isolating themselves from the people that they love the most. In MLMs, you guys know, it is taught to do those things. It is taught, oh, just sign up, don't tell your spouse. Or, oh, if they don't agree, they are not supportive and you need to kick them out of your life. It is a mentality, a very cult-like mentality that is promoted in MLMs. Oh, this one is really sad. It says, although you may not need his permission, support might be a better way of putting it. My husband is not a huge fan of me aligning with a network marketing business at all, and that hinders me from doing more. He doesn't feel I have the time to do this, so it takes up time from us or our family. He's not happy about it. And sadly, I know it won't be until I can bring in a real income that he'll realize what it can do for us. I believe this is where a lot of wives get caught in a rock and a hard place with spouses, and it's hard. Oh, that's so sad to see, because maybe her spouse does know the truth about MLMs and he's just trying to save her from not having to go through that, like losing money, losing time away from the family and stuff like that, because he may know that in the end, 90% of people don't get to the top, or 99.6% of people don't even profit in an MLM. So someone responded to her and said, I feel you. My husband has never told me not to do this business, but he's made some comments that are a little hurtful because I'm not bringing in a huge income yet. As much as I love him and respect him, I have learned to work when he's not home and do my best to be present when he is home. I know this business can change our lives, and until it does, I just have to show him I'm committed to it. The person responded and said, yeah, my husband's view is we have good jobs and can pay our bills just fine. Why do I need another job? Why take away time from our family for a job we don't need? What he does understand is when we retire from the military in about 2 to 3 years, I don't want to have to get another job outside of our home, and that's what I'm trying to prepare for. Also for him, he doesn't believe in these kind of businesses and doesn't believe the possibilities it can bring into our family, even though I tell him and show him what it's done for others. So this is freaking crappy to see, because no matter how much she believes that it can happen for her, no matter how much time she puts into it. Just like the FTC said that we talked about when we first reacted to this, is no matter how hard people work, most people don't make an income in MLMs, and some people lose money. And it's sad that we can see this is a vulnerable person that I also highlight. I always highlight military spouses, stay-at-home moms, college students, like those range of people. And this is a military family that is going through this, that is trying to do this MLM so that she could build, their maybe like retirement fund or whatever, or make it to where she's earning like full-time income so that she doesn't have to go work another job when he retires. But it's just really crappy to see. Another comment says, Permission, no, but discussion, absolutely. We make decisions together. And someone responded to them and said, plus, network marketing might be the thing that allows someone to escape an abusive relationship. So many women stay because they don't have the financial means to get out and their partner won't let them work outside the home. Being able to create an income from home opens up the opportunity to leave without worrying about how to support yourself and your children if you have any. So what's really sad about this is that you can see that they target women that are going through that. And people who are in those relationships, yeah, it takes a long time for people to get out. It takes a long time to have like the financial means to be able to get out of a situation like that. And unfortunately, MLMs, I feel like, are not the thing to do that for them. If most people in MLMs don't make an income, this is not the way for someone that's in that situation to build up, a side income to be able to get out of that situation. And clearly we could tell that someone like this may be actually trying to seek out those kind of people and recruit them. And then the last comment says, I told him after the fact. Or top earners in my company tell the story of how they told their husbands after. So we can see that top reps in multi-level marketing companies, she admitted, tell their downlines that, ooh, well, I didn't tell my spouse, which is probably going to convince people to not tell their spouse if, oh, well, look at her. She's at the top of this company. She's making $1 million. I can do it too if I just don't tell him and I just join anyways. What? So looking into this person is actually in Monate and Savvy. I believe she's in both. She posts about both. So she's in Monate and Savvy and saying that those are the people that are telling her to tell your spouse after. So what do you guys think about that? The next post says, network marketing isn't a scam, but it does buck the norm, and that's what upsets the people who don't get it. And then the caption says, corporate America and direct sales organizations are both shaped like pyramids. Newsflash, pyramid does not equal scheme. But ask yourself, what's the chance that you'll ever get to be paid like the CEO or president at your corporate gig? Highly unlikely, right? But that is okay and normal and justified. Because why? Because that's what our parents did? I call bullshit. No, there's no actual startup cost with a typical 9 to 5, unless of course you count your college or trade school degree or your work wardrobe or continuing education. So she's trying to say that things like continuing education, your wardrobe for work, college, all of that stuff to get you a job is like having an MLM startup cost, which I don't agree with. And then she continues with, but you're trading your life for dollars. Is there a startup cost for direct sales? Yes. On average is less than $100. So wait, in that post before, didn't she say startup costs are $150 and under? So she clearly changes how she says things. On one end, she says, we're not business owners, we're independent contractors. But then she says you own a business. But she then says on one post, most starter kits are $150 and under. And now she says on average, they're less than $100. So she's always like switching how she says things and switching the numbers up. So she said on average it's less than $100, which is not true. Most are more than that, or 100 and above, normally 100 to 200. Most people spend more than $100 on an outfit or pair of shoes that they wear to work. Direct sales isn't a pyramid scheme. It bucks the norm, and that bothers some people who don't get it. But cut the pyramid scheme shit, because if direct sales gig is a pyramid scheme, then so are our 9 to 5s. The reason I wanted to talk about this is to kind of call myself out. In the past, I would say like a year ago, I would chuckle at the fact that MLMs would draw out their compensation stuff and show that it's a pyramid shape. So in the past, I have joked about that, but it was just a joke. But I get that some people could get the wrong impression by that. And I am here to educate and then sometimes just joke around. But I do want to sit here and say right here and right now that ultimately the shape does not matter. It's what is happening within that shape that does matter. With corporate America or working an average job, you're getting an hourly wage. You're getting paid to do things. You're getting paid for your time. With MLMs, you're paying to give up your time. And then within MLMs, the thing and reason why people compare it to pyramid schemes is because of the recruiting aspect, not so much the pyramid. Yes, people joke about the fact that when you draw out like an MLM comp plan or an MLM rank structure, it is ranked like a pyramid, but it's just a joke. That's not the actual reality of why people compare MLMs to pyramid schemes. We already talked about that, so I'm not going to go over it again. And also the fact that she says it does, or it bucks the norm, like it's not the norm, so that's why people get upset. That's not the reason why I get upset. When I look at most of marketing companies, it has nothing to do with the fact that it's beside the norm. I feel like we're in 2022. A lot of people are doing things outside the norm. like, I don't know, the creator fund on TikTok, doing all of these social media things, doing things that 10 years ago wouldn't have even been imaginable. So there are other things for people to do where they don't have to join an MLM, and it also isn't the norm of going to college and getting like your average job after college. So it's not the fact that it's different or it's not the norm that gets people upset. What gets people upset is everything else. The lies, the manipulation, the cult tactics, the cult mentality, the disgusting and predatory nature of multi-level marketing companies, the business structure, the fact that they relate to pyramid schemes, and a lot of the times are pyramid schemes when they get sued by the FTC or are alleged pyramid schemes, which is exactly why I'm doing a series on that currently about MLMs that have been shut down for being pyramid schemes and or alleged pyramid schemes. So yeah, there's a lot more that goes into why it bothers people. It has nothing to do with the fact that it's not the norm. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all that I wanted to talk about today. So I hope that you guys did enjoy this video. I just wanted to continue on with the part 1 that I made like a month ago and finish this series off. I don't think I will really be continuing this series. I mean, if something does like crazy pops up, I will, or if like a video clip pops up that I can react to, I can definitely do that for you guys. But I wanted to do a part 1 and part 2, just really going over this individual's page, talking about their own membership that they sell to these MLM reps, talking about really the false narrative I feel this individual gives off about MLMs in these posts and in these comment sections and everything like that. So I do hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave a like and a comment and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in Friday's video. Since we last talked, Since we last taught to what their upline, oh my God, I can't. Undoubtedly be able to convince social media in order to rank advance that including, what in the fuck? I have never been more tongue twisted in my life. Okay.